Yo, what up, guys? It's your boy here, Judah.U, giving you another Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 episode review for you guys. This is episode 114. So let's get started here. For this video, I'm not really going to get too deep into the play-by-play. It was a pretty simple, straightforward duel with Dennis trying to get over Galaxy Eyes, Cypher Dragon, and stuff like that. And so it was a pretty straightforward duel. You guys could watch that. I'm just going to mainly mention, I guess, the pros and cons of this episode that I enjoyed. Not really that many cons. It was more just like something I guess that bugged me about it. Although the episode entirely was fantastic, it was just like I was looking forward to a different ending, as you guys might already know from a previous podcast I had with Dylan from Clues Gamers. But yeah, so getting into this, I'll just start with the pros, obviously, because there was a lot of pros. It was a really good episode. The duel in general was very entertaining. It got very sentimental near the very end and whatnot. So it was very good. The animation was on point too, so that was great. Which I felt deserved it for what happened at the end of this episode. And so finally, Dennis actually summoned a fusion monster, specifically what I'm talking about is an Enter Mage fusion monster. And I was wondering, I was like, he's from the fusion dimension, he has an Enter Mage deck, and for some reason his ace is an Xyz monster, and I was just like confused. And I understand that he got this entertainment style dueling while he was in Xyz dimension when he met up with Yusho. Well, when he first saw Yusho duel and whatnot, and that's what kind of gave birth to it. But I was still like, you're still from the fusion dimension. Where's your fusion monster for your archetype? So I was just so confused that he never had one. And I was really hoping that he would use one before his final moments. And he actually did in this very episode. He summoned a new Enter Mage fusion monster. Enter Mage Trapeze Trump Witch, I think it's what it's called. And it was really cool. It was really cool. I was really happy. I was like, finally he used polymerization and actually he didn't use poly. He just fusion summoned with his two monsters because one of them had the effects of fusion summon with. So yeah, so that was really cool. I was really happy about that. Another really cool thing about it was in this episode, what was it? Interestingly enough, he drew Little Fairy, which Sayaka gave to him, and with that he was able to make a comeback because Kaito was pretty low on life points. He was able to make a comeback with this card. He discarded a card to make Trump Witch a level 4, and that chained off the monster that he sent to the graveyard with Trump Witch's effect, which allows him to search out a rank up magic from his deck to his hand. So that's what he did. He searched up a rank up magic from his deck and activated it to rank up his Cypher Dragon and summon Neo Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon, which is an amazing looking card. And I'm actually very satisfied and happy with this because there was another Galaxy Eyes Cypher Blade Dragon that was revealed, that was released, and at first I thought this was gonna be his new evolution. I'm like, I don't know. It just didn't really feel like that much of an evolution really to me. I don't know why. It just really didn't feel that way. It looked cool, obviously the art was cool, but the effect was kind of underwhelming for something like this. But then this, this made more sense when it was summoned here, Neo Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon, which is a representation to Neo Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. So I kind of like it better for that reason. Also, is the fact that it represents, it looks very similar to Kaito's Neo Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon from Zexal or Zale, and I just really liked that, and I thought it looked really cool. Its effect was really cool. It like takes all your opponent's monsters and then turns them into Cypher Dragons. And obviously his whole deck works with having duplicates of his monsters to get off plays, so it's really good. I really like that. I love Neo Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon for sure. It's an amazing card. I definitely want that. And I guess at the very end of the episode, how this ended is, Kaito won the duel, so Dennis actually lost the duel, and there was an awkward moment of silence right after that. And then Yusho starts clapping, and everybody that's on the boat that was watching starts clapping, because it was an amazing duel, and they're clapping for both of them. And Yusho comes by to Dennis and tells him, and gives him his hand and tells him, you did it. I think he said like you did a great job or whatever. leave Academia and come join us and this and that. But he said something like that, trying to get him to to turn and whatnot. And Dennis kind of resisted, and he kind of backed off, and he had like a tear on his face, and he was saying that, and what was it? He was basically saying that he could never return back to Kurosaki and Yuya and the other Lancers because he betrayed them, and he basically can't live with himself at the fact that he betrayed Academia, and he also betrayed his friends with the Lancers. He really enjoyed his time there with them. Like it was a really great time, and he actually had a little tear, and they didn't even show his eyes. They just showed like a little sparkle. So it was very sad, because he didn't want to have to betray them, but he was loyal to Academia, and he went through his missions. So that's just kind of the character that he is. That he's still so loyal to Academia, but in the in the end of the day, he's still gonna do what he needs to do because he's loyal to them. Even if he makes connections with people and he kind of doesn't like the fact that he has to do these things, he still does it because this is what he's here for. He's very loyal, unlike a lot of other Academy members. He's actually very loyal and sticks through his plans all the way through. So yeah, I could respect that. And he starts backing up. He starts backing up to the edge of the boat, and he turns his duelist to the side, and he says that the time with my Lancers was a great time or whatever, and he basically says, "Oh, this is gonna be my last illusion," and this and that. He turns his duelist to the side, and then he says goodbye or something, and then he jumps backwards off of the boat to commit suicide, and then he used the duelist to turn himself into a card, and then the card went flying in the wind to Yusho, and he was holding it. So that's kind of how the episode ended, with him committing suicide because he couldn't deal with the fact that he betrayed Academia by revealing a secret. He revealed the secret that Rin and Rory were in the eastern. One was in the eastern and one was in the northern. No, in the western tower. So he gave away the locations, and since he gave away the locations, he betrayed Academia by giving away some private information that wasn't supposed to be released, and he did that on purpose so he could kill himself. Basically, he's like, all right, he left himself in a position where he was no way out of it, and he had no choice but to kill himself because he was that loyal, and the fact that he betrayed Academia to help them and also betrayed his friends, and he was just this back and forth decision inside of him, and he couldn't take it, so he had to get rid of himself because he couldn't live with that guilt on both sides. So yeah, it's a very emotional ending. The music was very nice. It was animated very nicely, and it's such a shame really that he had to go down that way. Yeah, so the cons that I had of this episode is not really a con, to be honest. There are no cons. It was a great episode. I was just upset because I was really looking forward to a Yusho versus Dennis duel since they teased that in the previous episode. No, 2 episodes ago. And I was like, oh, this would be so great. We get to see Yusho versus one of his old students, and Yusho's gonna pretty much own Dennis with his style of entertainment. It just would have been a nice duel. And if he had killed himself while dueling Yusho, that would have been even more emotional, I feel, because he lost to his master, realized that, he isn't, he's not the true entertainment duelist. And I felt like that would have still ended up being emotional, maybe even more emotional, and then he would have killed himself. But yeah, so that was one of my gripes. I wanted it to be Yusho to defeat him, and then if Dennis decided to commit suicide after that, that would have been fine. It would have been kind of like the same situation, really. So yeah, another failed opportunity to see Yusho duel. And this kind of sucks because I was really looking forward to him dueling before he faces... I'm assuming he's going to face a Caballero because he's going to go talk to him, and I'm assuming that's not going to go well. So most likely they're going to end up dueling. At least that's how I see it. So I'm like, are we ever going to see Yusho duel? This could have been the perfect opportunity for us to show us Yusho's full dueling before we face off against a Caballero. But I guess if we're even going to face him at all. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But I don't know how long we're gonna have to wait to see him duel, or if at this point the writers are even gonna make him duel. I don't know. It's kind of annoying at this point. I just really wanted to see a Yusho versus Dennis duel. Thought that would have been really emotional, or they could have at least given that moment to Asuka because they brought her back from GX and they pretty much haven't utilized her since then. They gave her a really cool introduction, and everybody was really excited to see her and her new angel rituals. But now it seems like the writers aren't even using her at all. Which is really sad and disappointing. Kaito didn't deserve that screen time. They could have given that screen time to Alexis, but I guess they're really trying to spam this whole selling Kaito's cipher cards and this and that, which is, I understand their business, but still, it's unnecessary. Like, you also brought back Machine Angels. Don't you want to hype that up too? I don't know. It's just like they're not giving the right amount of screen time to other characters, and they're kind of just recycling this. Like, Yuya's getting a lot of duels, Shun got a lot of duels, and Kaito's just getting more duels than he really needs at this point, because he already had a lot of time to shine in Zale or Zexo or whatever. And I love Kaito, but come on, Alexis was right there. She was gonna duel. He came through. That was a disrespect. Like, why, writers? You could have just made it happen right there and make her defeat him. Would have still had the same message because she's also a student of Yusho. She's been with him for a while, so it still would have had a similar message. And I feel like Alexis might have sold it well a little bit more, because Kaito, he's kind of too serious. He's not really an entertainment style duelist at all. Like, even while they were clapping for him, he just looked like angry and not angry, but like awkward, kind of angry in a way. Like, he just doesn't represent that. I felt like Alexis would have done probably somewhat of a better job, because she's not as serious all the time. So yeah, so those are my gripes about it, my cons, I suppose, which is nothing really negative. It's more of my own personal feelings towards how certain things went down. But the episode was amazing. I really enjoyed it a lot. I don't want you guys to think that I didn't. I enjoyed it. It was a great episode. I just, had my own personal things I wanted to see. But yeah. So, next episode. The episode ended with Serena. They were Yuya, Yuzu, and Gogensuka, and I think Salvatore or whatever. They were all looking for a boat. Nobody would lend them a boat. Then a pirate chick comes through. Serena's on top of it. She's saying, "Oh, come on, let's get on." That's how the episode ends. So, leading into the next episode, in the preview, it shows that, she's on the boat or whatever, and Captain Solo's there. He looks bad. Oh, he looks really bad. He looks so bad. I won't judge by appearance. He doesn't look like that important of a character, but we'll see what they do with him. Maybe, looks can be deceiving. I'm not going to judge just based on looks alone. Sometimes there are some Yu-Gi-Oh characters who don't look that great physically, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to be a character. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Hopefully they do something good with him and he's not just like this comic, waste of time type of character. We'll see what they do. But yeah, so, and it seems like Serena took Yuzu aside. Obviously something's up with her, and she's obviously most likely brainwashed or mind controlled or whatever the case may be. So it seems like she's going to take Yuzu again, and there's going to be a whole nother problem, and nobody likes that. Everybody's annoyed with that already, so no more taking Yuzu. It's just bad. But yeah, so that's going to be the next episode. I'll see you guys then. I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you guys for everything. Thanks for all the support that you guys give us, and I hope you really enjoy all the content we bring forward with all the reviews, the podcast, the duels, and the deck profiles, which is what our channel is mainly about. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. God bless you guys. Gotcha!